All right, welcome into a Monday edition of Pugs and Parker, the Pillow Talk edition. Heard typically Monday through Thursday. We do this at 9 o'clock, goes till 10-ish. Sometimes I go a little bit later. This is the second of two streams that I do each and every day here on the podcast platform known as Radio Misfits. The first one is High Noon. We do that at 12 p.m. Central Standard. That's just me. 12 noon is just me. And here's what High Noon is. It's all the headlines, all the hot topics, anything that's trending, current events, all of that kind of thing. It comes at you quickly. I don't spend too much time on any one issue, but if it's trending or if it's being talked about or if it's something that you need to know, something the world is buzzing about, I will give it to you. We run through them. We go one topic, tell you what it's about, why it's trending, what people are saying, what I think, boom, move on to the next. And that's what High Noon is. Every day, Monday through Friday, it is a cheat sheet for you so that you're not walking around going, I don't know anything that's happening in the world. Here's the rule about High Noon, though. We don't do any politics. That's right. You want your divisive nonsense politics? There are plenty of other talk radio shows that you can listen to. You want talking points. You want that kind. No. What we do is we just do stupid headlines. We do little stories. We don't do politics. We don't do religion. We don't do culture wars. We don't do anything. We try to seek the things that will unite us, as opposed to diving into the things that divide us. That's the whole point of High Noon. Headlines. Fun, pop culture, current events, all that kind of stuff. All right. Also, these shows, we do two shows a night. We do the headlines, which is High Noon. We do that. I just told you about that Monday through Friday, noon till about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It depends. Then we do Pillow Talk. Pillow Talk. I'm joined by my guy, Parker. Parker joins me for Pillow Talk. Now, both of these shows exist due to your courtesy. You can help with support of the show by tipping us. Like me, not us, me. Like I'm your bartender. You can go to Venmo, you go to Cash App, tip your bartender or whatever. By the way, earlier today, I never say who tips. I never say it by name. But some reason I thanked April as being the only person who has tipped the show. And that was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. Leslie C., who is a consistent supporter of the show. I love her. And I don't know why that I forgot, but I had to go back and I'm like, how are we doing this month? We're not doing good. And I saw April and then I was like, oh, that's right. Okay. And Leslie too. So thank you to April and Leslie. Your support for the ongoing shows is incredibly appreciated. Now let's bring in James Parker. Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. He's James Parker. He pull no punches Parker.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening?
I'm not happy already.
What's wrong? What's the matter?
Well, I'm just looking at the screen above me and it says this is the Pugs and Kelly show featuring James Parker.
You know that I almost put starring James Parker.
Scumbags.
Mondays Kelly's going to join us, and I thought it should be a special. I mean, look, this is.
Oh, really? Where is she? That's interesting.
Well, that is interesting, isn't it? That is.
Oh.
She's here. She'll be here.
Oh, is she? I don't see her.
Okay, here's the problem. Look, you are my guy. Please, I am not trying to cause any kind of a rift.
Apparently, I'm not
in my conversational life.
Thought I was.
No. Kelly was supposed to be on with camera, but camera has problem. So Kelly be on phone again. Next week, she will be on camera. Apparently, it was a cable issue, not cable TV. This is in the 80s. Like a cable that she needed that she doesn't have. It didn't work. So, but she's going to be along. But see, she's not going to come. We got to have our little moment here. We got to let you do the monologue. She doesn't want to be bothering with that stuff. She's the special guest on Mondays. It's Kelly Moore Mondays. Now, I thought that you were going to be okay with that. I didn't think we were going to truly have this level of an issue.
It's a big one. It's a big. Her phone has a camera on it and a microphone. So even if she doesn't get the computer working, she can use her phone to get a video and audio stream in here.
Well, you can have that conversation with her when she comes.
No, I am not her the pro bono engineer. Right? I set up my own stuff so I can be on the show. She can figure it out herself. She said just had 3 months. So she bumped her head. Whoop-de-doo. Get it together.
It means nothing to you that you're the only person in the title that receives full billing? that, I'm going by a fake name. She's just got her first name, and I felt compelled to make sure that people knew who you were,
That's
James
all right. That's kind of
Parker.
nice. I'll give you that. That's kind of nice.
And do you know that when I was writing that, I was writing that just for people who, are interested in, she doesn't do much, and we do this every day. And do you know that I literally almost said starring James Parker because I thought you might be a little bit. Now I know you're kidding, James. You're just being a
Mhm.
baby about this. But there was a part of me that went, no, you know what? I don't know if this is showing James the level of respect that he deserves for all of his hard work and for being my partner on this venture and all of that kind of stuff. So would you have preferred starring? I didn't want to patronize you in that to that degree. So I just
No, you know what? Now that you explain it like that, I'll allow it.
all right, very good. How are you, James? You look sunburned. Did you get out there?
I
Did you get
did get a little sunburned this weekend. We went to my wife's cousin's house, and they did this weird thing where they like went to college for like smart majors and got good jobs. And
yeah,
so they have like a
what we didn't
house.
do.
No, they have like a big house with a big pool and like all kinds of amenities and like one of those little gas fireplaces out back. And yeah, it was freaking sweet, man. So it was like, oh, this is how we could live if we were smarter and made better decisions, you
Yeah.
know?
Years ago, I threw that at Schwartz. I was like, yeah, you have all this, but man, when you were in college hitting the books, I was going to keg parties. And he
Guess
goes,
you showed him, yeah.
yeah, when I was in college between hitting the books, I was a male model in Hollywood in the 1980s. I was dating models. I'm like, yeah, okay, never mind. And now you're a plastic surgeon. So, I
You
guess
win.
you
Fine, you
win.
win.
Fine. You win, you arrogant. Anyway, why do I look short, don't I? Like I need to do I need to
But just
refocus my
tilt your camera down a little bit
this is gonna be a whole
or
thing.
zoom in.
Hey, look at Ed's comment. Ed's mad. Ed's been sending Kelly all the equipment so that she
Hmm.
can do this. And I think he's just finding out now that she is not gonna be on camera today. But she
I'm
will.
with you, Ed. I find that completely frustrating because it's like, it's one thing when my parents didn't know how to program a VCR and they're like, "Can we just leave the TV on just in case?" That level of like technological, befuddlery. It was cute for like baby boomers, but she's way too young to be befuddled by technology. That's a lame excuse, and that just shows me she's not trying.
Dude, you get like that with your mom too. I get like that with my mom is way too young and she's been way too competent her entire life. She's known everything. She knew how to hook up speakers, she did the VCS, she ran cable. I mean, she knew how to do everything. And then all of a sudden, smart TV is too much for her. She's tapped out. She's done. And she's not like an old woman. She's a boomer, but she's not an old boomer. She's on the younger side of boomer. She's active and all that stuff. It's frustrating.
Yeah, and I try to show my dad what all his smart TV can do.
Mhm.
And so I hand it back to him and I'm like, see, so now you know how to find these obscure channels that you just asked me about. He's like, oh man, I can't remember how to do all that. I'm like, oh my God, you just watch me with your own eyes. You just go to
All
the menu and dick around.
all
Like,
that.
you figure it out. Like,
But
I didn't like take a class to figure out my smart TV. I got the remote and I hit menu and then I just mushed around until I found out what the heck was going on.
but do you know? Okay, so this is how. When did can you drive a stick shift?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, all right. But I think most men should be able to drive a stick shift.
Well,
Could
the
you?
straight ones.
What do you mean straight? Well, like a straight line. So yeah, like a
No, no,
class.
no, no, no. I mean straight men. If
Oh,
you're
I
gay, you get a pass. You don't need
thought
to
you were
know that.
about
Right.
okay. Thought you were talking about a straight line shift.
Yeah,
Um,
straight eight.
no. Now, did you learn on a stick shift first because you're a farm boy and that's what tractors do, or how did this come about?
No, I learned on the farm truck that we used to tote stuff around on the farm
Mhm.
because I learned when I was 9,
Okay.
and that's when I could reach the pedals. If you sit on the front of the very edge, the front of the bench seat in this old 70 something Ford
Mhm.
truck, I could reach the gas and the brake.
So
And
you learned how to work a clutch. You're telling me, but
no, 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 no. It was an automatic. It was an
oh,
automatic.
okay. So you learned how to drive at 9, and it was an automatic farm truck. Okay.
Hmm.
So then you got your driver's license, and you probably trained on an automatic transmission. At what point did you learn how to drive a stick shift?
My sister got a stick shift. She got like the cheapest new car that money could buy. It was like a Dodge Shadow in 1993 or
Okay.
4 or something. I think she got it in 93 and it was like a 94 model. But it was a stick shift. So if I ever wanted to drive my sister's car, I had to learn how to drive that. So she showed me like the first week she got it, and I was off to the races. And then actually, when she got another car later, I had that car for a while as a hand me down until I sold it.
So now, just full disclosure, I prefer a stick shift. I love driving a stick shift. I understand how much easier it is to drive an automatic transmission, but there is something about driving a stick shift that I enjoy. Maybe I'm just fidgety, and I like, I like being able to put it in gear and feel it
Gives
going.
you something to do.
Right. However, I didn't learn how to drive a stick shift until I was about 17, 18 years old, which among my core group of people was very late. Like all the other guys were like, dude, just try to drive this car. I had a girlfriend who had a stick shift, and she took me out once in her car. We were in this big parking lot, and I couldn't do it, and I gave up. And here's why. And this is how I think that I did learn eventually, and I've owned sticks since. I love them. But the reason that I say that your dad is having difficulty with his smart TV, and you say, oh, just stick around, does he understand the premise of how the smart TV works? Because my problem with the stick shift was I had no concept of the premise. I didn't know what I was trying to do. I was just, I didn't understand that, there was a, first gear, second gear, then back to the middle is neutral, then third, then, you know what I mean? And then, fifth is up, over and up. And then if you're lucky enough to have like a 6-speed, then, you drop it all the way back. Once I understood the concept of the stick shift, I immediately got it. And I loved it. And I think that's the same thing with new technology. Your dad is used to sitting with a cable box, aiming a remote, and just scrolling through. Does he understand the concept of the smart TV? Because I'm not sure that my mom does.
He knows how to work Netflix. He knows how to work Paramount Plus and watch damn Yellowstone in 1883. And he understands going through a menu like that. But
On a smart TV, because you see, my mother watches Netflix all the time. She watches Netflix, Hulu, but those are all on her cable remote box. Like she still has cable, and she goes to the app section of her cable guide and then just uses it like any other cable channel. And I have to tell you, compared to a smart TV, it's 100 times faster, and it works 100 times better.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. He still defaults to a live stream of some sort, and so he usually watches one of the 3 or 4 local affiliates we have here in Tyler.
Mhm.
And then the funny part is he just sits through stuff he doesn't want to watch.
On a smart
Right?
TV?
Yeah, and I don't understand why he does
Because
that ever.
I do, because it's too difficult to change channels.
Right,
If
right.
you learned how to surf, you could surf so easy, just channel, 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 channel on a cable. But on a smart TV, it's, do you really want to exit the app? There's like a whole bunch of these steps, and then you have to hit another app. It is, I guess my point is this: for an older generation, is it really worth it to them to learn this new thing? Because the new thing,
Yes.
yeah,
He's not going to die tomorrow, and he's probably not going to die in like the next year or 5 years. So figure it out. Figure it out.
it's not as convenient though. I mean, this is my problem with smart TV and watching apps.
But
It's
but
not
but
convenient.
it
It's
opens up
frustrating.
the doors to thousands of programs to where you never have to settle. So of course it's
True.
not as convenient, but the trade-off is of course it's worth it. Yeah, it's not as convenient to only have 4 channels that you flip through.
No,
Yeah.
but if you got cable, you can have 200 channels, and you could just flip, 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 flip.
Okay. Well, go something a little more complicated and you have 4,000 channels and
Yeah, I get
4,000
it.
titles that like
Look,
basically unlocks the keys to the universe. My God, you just have to figure out the menu button.
if my mother ever truly jumped into YouTube, I don't think she'd ever watch anything else, because there is so much content on you. My son only watches YouTube. That's it. That's his one channel, and it contains everything his imagination could ever imagine that he wants to see.
I can't believe my dad isn't all into YouTube because I watch, what the world, like 99% of the world thinks is dumb and I think's like really cool. Like that's on YouTube. So
Right.
if I wanted to find out like where did the Comanches live before they took over West Texas? Oh, well, they
Right.
started out in Wyoming. Right.
Right? You'll find a 20-minute video that'll teach you all of that stuff. If you want to watch old soap operas from the 1960s, there is probably a YouTube channel that has hundreds of them. And you
Yeah,
can
and every once in a while, like
soap
my
operas.
wife's only like 4 years younger than me, but things pop up on where I'm like, you don't know the Frito Bandito? Come on, I gotta see this racist thing. This is
Oh,
great.
oh my God. Yeah, I use YouTube as a teaching tool constantly for my kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's anytime I want, Dad, what are you going to make me watch? Like, I'll be in the other room. I'll go, hey, come here. Because I'll have found something, I'll have
Yeah,
found.
and that's a good thing too. It's like that they have heard me say 1,000 times. Just figure it out by watching a YouTube video. If you need to change the water pump on your car, or figure out, I don't know, maybe the menu to your smart TV, you could figure all this out on YouTube. They have everything. You can hang drywall. You can run some plumbing.
Between Google and YouTube, you should never have to ask anybody anything ever again. Between
Mhm.
Google and YouTube, all of the answers are right there. They're just right there. Everything. All right, let's do you want to do a monologue? Why not? We'll do a
I
little
do want to do a monologue. It's funny you should say that,
All
because I was
right.
totally thinking like we
Yeah.
should do one.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Comfort Nest stage here high atop the 1%er compound, James Malcolm Parker.
Malcolm.
I don't know. I'm
It'll work. Good enough.
a Twitter feed of Malcolm Nance. So I just
Well, what happened to the music there? The White House Easter egg roll was today, Pugs. But here's my question: since China's financing the event, does that make it a Chinese egg roll?
Okay. I don't think China's really financing it, but go ahead, continue. Go ahead.
Don't ruin a good joke. In 1889, President Benjamin Harrison introduced music to the White House Easter egg roll. The crowd enjoyed performances by the U.S. Marine Corps Band and Madonna. She was the opening act, I think. This was right before, like, a version.
Oh, that's the joke.
Yeah. Because she's old.
He's working hard for you, folks. Come on.
Because Madonna's old. See how that works? Over the weekend in Venice, Italy, they held the International Tattoo Convention. I couldn't make it, Pug, so yesterday I went to the Walmart in Mesquite.
There you go. Same thing.
Probably more tattoos there. The House of Representatives passed a marijuana legalization bill, but opponents are warning that pot is a gateway drug, Pugs, that can lead to use of more dangerous substances like alcohol.
It's true.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah. It is totally true. Kids can get weed much easier than they can get booze.
Scientists now believe that death could be reversible, which means that nothing is certain now but taxes.
Joke for tax day.
Yeah, kind of a timely dad joke. The U.S. tax code is 4 times longer than the combined works of William Shakespeare. And I know from personal experience that the combined works of William Shakespeare are 10 times longer than the Cliff Notes. Of course, now you don't do Cliff Notes. You just watch a video on YouTube that summarizes it. Yeah.
That's right.
Today, though, Pugs, you probably didn't know this. It is World Amateur Radio Day, which don't confuse amateur radio with what we do here. This is amateurish radio.
This isn't radio at all. God.
Happy birthday to Kourtney Kardashian, who turns 43. And I don't want to say she's getting old, but she has a new show called Keeping Up with the Life Alert bracelet.
Oh.
That's all right.
I didn't see her birthday listed today.
She's 43 years old today. I don't want to say she's getting old, Pugs, but she has a new show called Keeping Up with the Stair Lift.
Come on, folks.
Kourtney Kardashian's 43 years old today. I don't want to say she's getting old, but she's got a new show called Keeping Up with the Walk-In Bathtub. Are you ready? All right. Kourtney Kardashian turns 43 today. I don't want to say she's getting old, but she has a new show coming up called Mr. Mom for Real.
Oh, I like that one.
Just Caitlin. And finally, happy birthday to the singer of Foreigner, Kelly Hansen. You want to take a stab? You want to take a guess? I don't want to say he's getting old, but he and the band have a new song called
feels like I don't know.
The correct answer would be Juice Box Hero.
Oh, there we go. James does his monologue every night.
I love that bit. It's over. Oh, it's over.
You keep working the crowd for that one.
So where's Kelly? Where's the co-host of this show, of which I'm just a dangling third leg?
All right, hold on. You're not a dangling third leg. You've been given all the. Next week, she promises she'll be on camera.
Her phone has the camera.
There she is, ladies and gentlemen. Kelly Moore Mondays. Oh,
what did I do?
Oh, Ed and James are very angry at you.
Why?
I'm not. I'm easy.
What did I do? I never leave my house.
You didn't do anything. Pugs.
Angry.
Pugs put the title of today's broadcast is Pugs and Kelly featuring James Parker.
Yeah, I thought it was a special occasion.
Like, I'm not the guy that's here every day, and you're the featured interloper.
We've established a month ago that it was Kelly Moore Mondays, James. You need to tone that down. James is upset, or Ed is upset with you because here, I will read the...
Oh, no, because I didn't get the cable. He didn't put the cable on the list.
It's not that...
There's no cable. There's not even cable.
He says you don't
Your phone has the camera on it. Why don't you just use that?
He says the camera is built into her machine. She doesn't need a damn cable. That's what Ed said. That's what Ed just said.
I don't know.
But Ed said that publicly in the chat room when I announced.
Well, I apologize. I just followed the directions. Declan is tech savvy as a person I know. And he was yelling at me because he swore I had this cable last week when he came over, and then he realized that he brought his own cable over.
Ed, I wonder if Ed can jump in with his camera and then explain what he means. I don't know what he means.
He can explain it all he wants. I'm not going to freaking understand what he's talking about.
See, we just had a conversation about our parents, Kelly. You are becoming our parents. We are becoming our parents.
Becoming? I've been for 20 years.
Do you use a smart TV or do you still have cable?
I use a smart TV, and I barely ever watch anything other than streaming services.
Okay, all right, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
I know.
All right, so you don't pay a cable bill at that house?
No, we have to because of football. We have to have the Sunday ticket.
Oh,
so we have to keep DirecTV.
Because you're out of market. Yeah.
I know, but my husband once told me, he's like, fine, I'll watch it on my own then. I go, good luck. It's on YouTube. You're not going to be able to find it.
Does he not? We were just talking about the magic of YouTube, how it's pretty much all my son watches.
That's all I watch.
Yeah.
And no, Jeff doesn't know how to get there.
He doesn't know YouTube.com. He doesn't know how, or just the YouTube app.
No, we have a smart TV. Go to HDMI 2.
Oh,
click on the YouTube.
Oh, see, but it's okay. So you don't just yeah, I get it. So he still watches the DirecTV. Like if he's watching, movies, so he can flip through channels. He doesn't have to do that whole. Are you sure you want to exit the app before you change to another thing you want to watch?
Only live, because he'll record things, but he doesn't really know how to get to the recording.
How is he younger than us?
Like by a year.
Okay. Okay, but
no.
But
then he always pulls out but I could fly a plane. I'm like, well, awesome, but you can't get on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, really, who's the winner there?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would much rather be able to get on YouTube than fly a plane. I mean, that's...
Nah, and then he'll tell me some news story. I'm like, oh my God, are you listening to Fox News again? He's like, it's better than watching MSNBC all day. I'm like, I don't watch MSNBC all day. I watch streaming things all day. I watch things from all over.
Yeah, can't bother
to modern like that.
Can't bother to check out my noon stream, but she's watching YouTube all day. It's can't bother. I could be very informative.
Am I supposed to be checking out your noon stream? I didn't know you had one, to be perfectly honest.
I'm sorry. Dang.
Problem. That is.
Well, you don't, because you don't talk to me like with that stuff.
What are we doing right now? Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Yes,
see?
High Noon comes on every day at noon. It is topics.
Cleverly titled then.
It is. It is. Comes every day at noon Central Time. It is trending topics, current events, headlines, all the things that people are talking about and buzzing about. I give it to you in a nice little 2-hour, one after another stream of consciousness rant about all the things that are happening. I work very hard on it, Kelly. I wake up a whole hour and a half before noon in order to put this together for you people.
I'm up at 5:30 in the morning. What do you need to know?
Yeah, that's a whole different day. That's a whole different day.
My day has completely. I used to love it when I used to go to bed at 5 in the morning, and then we'd go work like middays or afternoon, that horrible afternoon job. And then now, though, everybody gets up. My kids have to be at the bus stop at 6:15 in the morning. My husband has to start work at 6, which means he has to leave at 5:30. Then I've got the giant dogs I have to take care of.
Wait, James, what time do you have to wake up what time do your kids have to be at the bus stop?
I have to wake up at like 5:30 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the kids have to be at the bus stop at like 6:55.
What? What are you guys busing to the next town over? Why so early?
No, my kid's school is 20 minutes away.
My
From a straight drive.
My kid's school starts at 8:30 and he wakes up at like 7:50.
No, the bus comes at between 6:20 and 6:30 in the morning.
What do you?
Yeah, and the bus has to come a little earlier because they have to get to school like at least a half hour before it starts, so the poor kids can get their free breakfast.
Oh, jeez, there you go.
Okay, hold on. I agree with you on that. However, I guess we use the Corona funds to give everybody free breakfast at my school. But to be fair, we got people that are really poor and then people with means that go to the same school, like really poor, like don't even speak English poor.
Those are synonymous?
Well, yeah, because you're not getting a job as a CEO of like, a grocery store if you can't speak English. They work really freaking hard. I'm not putting them down at all.
James, you want to tell them they shouldn't be here then? You want to, James, you with your Mexican blood, you want to tell her that they shouldn't be here if they don't speak English? Go ahead. I'll sit back.
If you want to make anything out of your life, you better learn to speak English. Is that what you're saying, Kelly? You're saying people who can't speak just aren't as good and worthy of...
I'm giving them... No, they work really freaking hard. And that was a problem with this whole coronavirus thing. I'm talking like an old person. But... when you had to keep your kids home and you had to homeschool them, but they don't have computers, they didn't have access to anything. And then their grandparents would have to teach them, but they didn't speak English and they were at home. And it's just like, it was rough. I got to look at this from 2 points of view. I got to look at it from the mother of kids who have means, and then also the mother of a son who teaches school in that same district.
So you think you're better than them?
No, I don't. I think I'm luckier in a lot of ways. And I think that they work way harder.
James, she thinks she's blessed. That's what she thinks. She thinks she's blessed.
Sounds so southern.
Yeah, well.
You don't think maybe someone learned how to fly an airplane and like deserve the income rather than the guy who's getting the algae off the side of your pool?
Oh my. Dude, were you at my house today? That's exactly what happened.
Okay, hold on. Let me just interrupt here because we don't have much time on this show, and Ed brings up a good point. There is no High Noon show tomorrow. I have an engagement that I must participate in.
You're getting engaged?
No.
Oh.
It's a thing. Life is a struggle. It's a thing that
I'll
have more information about it, and then I'll let you know as soon as.
Oh God, you're not being sued, are you?
No.
No one would sue him.
And I was only what are they going to get blood?
We've already been sued twice, James. Where you been?
Yeah, dude. What are you talking about? Kelly and I have been on the bad end of legal system a number of times.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed, though. I mean, you're aware of like Pugs' situation, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, what situation, James?
Yeah.
Well, your balance sheet for one. I haven't seen your general ledger, but I think it's got to be pretty close to zero.
James is upset that I'm a bit of a vagabond. I'm
not upset about it. I'm just saying that doesn't make you a target-rich environment for a lawsuit.
you sure do spend a lot of time referencing it, James. So I'm just pointing that out there.
Yes, that's nice. Shit. I'm on the receiving end of that a lot.
I'm a starving artist who does 2 streams a day, and that's it. And
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough to have. I see, James. I am lucky enough to be the kind of dude that people love. That a friend like Emil says, "Hey, I came into a windfall, and now I have this giant house in the back of my giant house, and you can live there for free, as opposed to me running a restaurant in Chicago like I've been doing for the previous 2 years. I have people who love me. I have people who want to."
If he didn't want you there, he wouldn't invite you.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to be here.
Well, you deserve it. You're a really nice guy.
Yeah, I am. People like me because I'm kind and I'm loving and I'm decent and I made.
Well, why don't people like me then?
But you're married. You're married. You got a flyboy husband. It's a different situation.
You're not getting sued either.
Yeah.
No, but I had neighbors who used to call the cops on me all the time. Thought I put a fish in their mailbox. That's a whole other thing.
A fish. All right. So I do want to establish that there is no high noon show tomorrow that Ed pointed out, because sometimes I forget that. Now, hold on. There was a whole reason that I want to have you on here today, James. James,
no.
this is important. You've teased this a couple of times, and I want to hear the story of how we all thought you were dead. You never talked about this. Is this something you're willing to talk about, or is it something that I shouldn't be talking about? Kelly's head almost exploded a few years ago, and we all thought she was dead. Yeah. What do you mean, really?
Oh, I thought you meant we all thought James was dead, and I was like, I didn't think that.
Oh, see,
no one thought that.
Is this part of the, like, is there any, tell people the story. Let's talk it through. Let's get the facts, because apparently just in, the minor conversations that we had over the last couple of weeks, I have the story completely wrong. I heard that you fell off a Stairmaster and then had a stroke.
Oh, God, I wish.
Well, what is the story? Because here's what I do know. I do know that there was emergency brain surgery involved and that you were flown to a hospital in Houston. Yes?
No. I did not have surgery, and I was not flown to a hospital, but there was discussion of having to send me to one.
Okay.
But they were trying to decide if the bleeding in my brain would be worth the risk of sending me to another hospital via ambulance by 3 hours.
All right, so bring us through the story. We want to hear.
Okay, so I was arguing with McKenna about something Disney related. Stupid. Doesn't matter.
Oh, hey, James, you want to tell Kelly about her daughter who has been working for Disney as an ambassador for years and years, is really a pedophile? Go ahead, James. Floor is yours.
How dare her? Does she order pizza from, I don't know, I'm just
Cosmic Pizza?
No, she's actually working as a nanny and auditioning for a bunch of things and working, on acting, but okay.
Yeah,
if we want to paint my 22-year-old daughter as some kind of like pedophile,
well,
that's up to you, James.
She works for Disney, or did, right?
No, she doesn't.
Shoe fits. Yeah.
Didn't
if you got anything right?
I booked Disney Travel.
Oh, you're the pedophile in the family. There we go. Oh.
Yeah, leave McKenna out of this. She's decent.
Because I don't like the way that the company's running, and whatever. But that's like a whole different other thing.
By the way, your daughter's in Hollywood, right?
LA, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
excuse me, I'm a rube. Okay, it's all Hollywood
dude,
to me.
I don't know where she lives exactly. It's like in Koreatown or something.
Because
I'm not sure.
The way you presented that, it sounds like she's taking care of kids there out on the island in Corpus Christi, and you didn't present it well enough. Yeah, she's out
in Los
of the house.
Angeles, and she lives with like her best friend from here, Sophia, who goes to USC and works in the theater department, and they share an apartment. And yeah, I'm uncomfortable with it, but what am I going to do? Become a famous actress by living in Corpus Christi, Texas. No, that's not going to happen.
No, she's got to move. All right.
No, she's got to go.
That's the time for her to do it. She's at that age, now or never.
She is. Yep, she is. Mm-hmm. And I was cleaning up dishes in our house, and I slipped, as best I know, because I completely blacked out. I don't know. I fell, I hit my head, and I cracked my skull in 2 places, and I had 3 brain bleeds.
So how did you fall?
I slipped on water on my floor.
Ugh.
But technically you don't remember, right?
No, but I remember like the sense of falling, and then somebody dragged me to my bed. and I have no idea who that was. But then they tried to wake me up in the morning, and I wouldn't wake up. And yeah, everybody was completely freaking out because they thought that like I was dead. And so they called the paramedics, and the paramedics took me to the hospital. And I don't remember like the next week, but I had brain bleeds. They didn't know how to handle them, and they didn't know whether to cut into my skull. And then there were risks. And keep in mind, we're in Corpus Christi. It's not where like the brilliant brain surgeons go to live. So, there's like a little bit of
shout out to the people who saved her life.
Right.
No, they're
So
already
grateful.
anyway. And no, I am like, because I really am, because
Yeah.
it's kind of funny.
But they could have been
what
better.
Can you believe these hicks saved my life?
They could have been better.
shit.
I'm grateful. They could have been better. But
Not the greatest in the
Well,
world, that's for
somebody
sure.
shoved a beer in front of me. A doctor did, and told me that I needed to drink it, and I'm like, what the fuck for? I still don't know why.
they gave you a beer?
Yeah, I don't know why that was.
Dr.
But-
Cosby.
Oh my god, long term, there's still certain things I can't taste and smell. As a long term effect. As a short term, they took me out of the ICU and brought me down to regular. And Jeff and my son Declan said to the nurses, I don't think she's ready for this. And they're like, no, she's fine. What happened that night? I passed out in the bathroom in the middle of the night.
Of your house?
And so
No, the hospital.
Wow.
at the
I
hospital.
heard this happened at your house. I got the story so
No, it
wrong.
happened at my house, and it happened in the hospital.
Okay.
So after my family said, I don't think she's ready to be out of the ICU. And they're like, no, she could go. First thing, I just freaking passed out and landed on the ground again. And then they moved it to the ICU. They did not call Jeff, Declan, or anyone to tell them I'd been moved. So they just came in to see me. And they're like, no, your mom's not there anymore. She's moved to this area. So they just, were like, what the hell happened? We told you, don't let her go. And also, as a result of my brain injury, I had no kind of like bearing on the appropriate way to act. Not in a kind of like I would, go naked and run around the halls. Not that kind of way.
But like your
But, like, I
emotions were
did
out of
actually-
whack? Like I
No,
hear
I
that.
did
like,
get out of bed and run around the halls. I did. Because I had no grasp on the proper way to act. And they were always standing guard of me, which was unnerving. So, and I wouldn't eat, and that's why somehow the guy threw the beer at me. I don't know what that had to do with anything.
trying to get you drunk.
But the reason why, in hindsight, the reason why I didn't want to eat was because I couldn't smell or taste anything, and I wasn't hungry. But that was because of the brain injury. It
Okay.
wasn't because like I was trying to be obstinate. It just wasn't a part of what was happening in my world.
And you
And
figured who
so-
needs the calories if you can't taste them?
Well, for sure.
It's a
I wish I
bonus.
had that now.
Mhm.
That would be awesome. But so, yeah, there were points where they were concerned that I was going to die. And I
Well,
think
we were just so we're clear.
Yeah, I'm
we
sorry.
Were. Yeah.
I'm
okay.
sorry. I had no idea. I know that Jeff talked to Dr. Schwartz,
Yeah.
and Dr. Schwartz gave his input,
Mhm.
and he said that he thought that I was probably going to need to have surgery, and they just thought that the risk of transporting me would be worse than waiting it out and see how it went. But I still have bumps on my head. I still have to take anti-seizure medicine. I still had a brain seizure 2 months ago, and probably like 4 months before that, and that's scary for my family to see. I remember none of it when it happens.
As far as Schwartz goes, I was the one who got Schwartz involved. I called
you.
him. Well, and what is he going to do? Make sure your boobs are intact? I mean,
Wait, how are your boobs?
They're good. They're good.
No, but
I'm thinking of a lift though. But
well,
yeah, they're good.
the thinking was that Schwartz should be hearing all the things that the doctors are saying, so that he could then come and dumb it down to the rest of us. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
he could understand. And I can tell you that having spoken to him right after he spoke to your doctors, that he did think that you were, I remember him saying, we got to get her out of there. Like he did
Yeah.
not like where you were. We got to get her out of
Nobody
there.
did.
And that she is probably going to need some form of, I don't know what it was. He used some term. And I'm like, dude, I'm stupid. And he goes, the brain needs to vent, you know, basically.
No,
you
that
know,
was pretty
something like
much it.
that.
Yeah.
They drill tiny
have-
little holes in your skull to let the blood pop out, let the pressure pop out.
No, they did not do that because they thought that that would be riskier due to infection if they
Fair
did
enough.
that.
Well, good. And
And
if they didn't feel like they had to do that, that means it wasn't as severe as it could have
well, they
been.
didn't, honestly, James, they didn't know what the fuck they were going to do. None of them did. They were just like, to the point where my friend Melody, who's my CrossFit coach and really good friend, and I set her up with her husband anyway, yelled and cursed out the doctors
She's
so
still
many
chasing
times.
rabbits. Still
I mean,
can't stay on topic.
She's a good friend. She's not my doctor. But then my other friend who is a doctor went in and sat on the things and was just like, dude, I don't know about this group. And it was touch and go for a while. I still have no idea how long I was in the hospital because Jeff will lie to me like he lies to me about how many beers he had in a night. He'll be like, you were there for 6 weeks, and then it's like I was there for 2 weeks, and like, you know, I'm like, what the hell?
All right, time out. For people just joining, because I see a number of new people have jumped in, and Emily just said, I missed something. Kelly is talking about her brain injury that she suffered, 3 years ago now? Something like that? 2 years ago?
3 years ago, but it continues. Like, I still have repercussions from it. I still have to make sure that I take this anti-seizure. I still get seizures.
So what is
and
that?
It
what is
scares
that like?
everyone.
What is that like? You still get seizures?
It's like, from what's been described to me, because I remember nothing from it. I cannot feel it coming on at all.
Do they shove a wallet in your mouth?
No, I wish they would have the last time because I did bite my tongue.
Isn't that the old West? Isn't that the old way to do it? You shove a wallet or something in their mouth so they don't bite down?
No, my biggest lesson is don't ever take an ambulance ride because it costs for fucking ever much.
Yeah.
And you will never pay it off.
Yeah.
Just take an Uber.
I'm still paying for that initial one.
Yeah.
So I decline every other time that they've come.
Do you know that
no.
when do you remember when I got into that fight at the bar in Chicago?
Yep.
And the ambulance came, and the ambulance was at the hotel. And
are you still getting bills?
Nah, I think that's pretty much been adjudicated at this point. You run from it long enough.
Yeah, suck it up, man.
But Kelly, wait. Here's the story on that ambulance. That ambulance pulled up, and they're like, "Where are you going?" They're like, "We're going to Northwestern." And I'm like, okay, Northwestern Hospital is right there on the Gold Coast of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
The hotel we were at was in the Gold Coast of Chicago. So the ambulance is in the parking lot. They put me in the ambulance. They close the door. They pull out of the hotel parking lot.
Oh, shit. That's right.
Pull right into Northwestern Memorial, which was right across the street.
Yeah.
Right across the street. It was a less than 3-minute ambulance ride covering about a football field, and they tried to charge me $600.
Jesus.
Oh no, I've gotten $6,000 bills.
Oh my God. Well,
yes.
Mine was only 600.
And they didn't know what I had was wrong. So it's not like I got medication or anything. They just took me to the hospital.
It's ridiculous.
And I feel like we keep sending them money and they keep sending us bills. And I'm like, when is this going to end?
When we elect a socialist. All right, James, that's your cue. No, kidding.
Right.
Nah, I mean, it was bad and it was scary, and it was scary for my entire family. And each time I have a seizure, which has been 3 times now after that, has been scary for every member of my family, except me, because I'm knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, except I wake up and I see the ambulance people there and I'm like, no, go away. I don't want to keep paying you.
You know, it's funny how you describe it that way because, you know, when I had my really bad car accident, when I was young and the top of my head was taken off, Everybody who witnessed that, everybody was like, oh my God, that was the scariest thing. I've never seen anything like that. That is so unbelievably terrible. Oh, we felt so bad for you. I'm like, yeah, I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
Take
I don't.
advantage.
And I had like I had just been the last one. I spent 2 hours a day on my fucking indoor rower because I'm a crazy person. But I fell across my rower, and so I had bruises across like the top half of my body where I'd fallen across the bar. And that took forever to go away. But even then, when I woke up and I'm like, no, I'm not going in the ambulance. No. Like, you people, you know, like, let me throw money at you to get you to leave. Because it's just, it's just, but then it's scary because my kids see me seizing, doing all the things that they say with the shaking and everything, and your teeth clenching and stuff. I don't remember it. They see it. And that horrifies me. I feel so horrible about that. But there's nothing I can do about it. Like, I take the medicine that's prescribed, and that's all I can do.
So what do they tell you for, the future? Like,
Well, avoid fevers,
okay.
which is why I've been one of those people that's been, I've gotten all my boosters and all my COVID shots, and try to stay away from people during COVID because I had one seizure because I had a fever. So I can't get a fever. I know that. I don't know what happened with the rower situation day. It was a normal day. I don't know why I had a seizure at that time. I don't know. It's just
God.
no. And then so then I hear like all these variants happening, and I'm like, oh fuck. Am I gonna have to get another goddamn booster? And yes, I am. I'm gonna have to get another freaking booster because I can't have a fever. It's just not a thing I can have in my life anymore, and it sucks. It really sucks. But there are worse things. I don't have cancer, so
Yeah. Hey, James, you're seeing these. I put a map up for you. I want to show you my ambulance ride that cost $600.
Okay.
So right here, you see this where it says W Chicago Lakeshore?
Yes.
You see that right there?
Okay.
That's the hotel. Here's the hotel parking lot, and here's the Northwestern Complex. This is the
yeah.
hospital.
Luckily, you were really close to a hospital.
So as you can
Sadly, you had to pay
see,
for that.
the ambulance. James, can you see the arrow?
Yeah. Right
Okay.
now.
So the arrow picked me up right here. We made a left.
Wait,
right
you just
here.
moved. Where'd you go? Okay.
We made a left, and then we went into the emergency room right here.
Why didn't you just walk your ass over there?
I didn't know where I was.
Because you don't know. You don't know really, especially when that happens, you're not like, hold on, let me Google Maps this, where we are. Like, you're not thinking about that.
Ed, who was there, says literally 100 feet away. I'm like, yeah, it was.
Rough.
Yet they had me in the ambulance.
No.
I don't even think they put it in drive. I think they just put it in neutral and let it roll down the ramp.
Sure.
Right into it. Oh, you want to hear you want to hear a horror story, Kelly? You don't even know about this. Okay, so that's a very, we are all very pleased. How about a round of applause for Kelly? She's a survivor.
I'm a survivor thus far.
So when I moved back to Chicago, was one of my best friends, baby.
Wait, where are you living now, though?
Highland Park. I live in Texas.
Yeah, but there's Highland Park in Chicago. And
Texas.
Yeah,
no. I live
Dallas.
Yeah, he figured out a way to become a multi-millionaire again, and he's got a guest house that I live in. So
I know he's so great.
So yeah,
I love. I tried to plan his Disney trip, but it was really hard because it was going through all the transitions, and that was just sucked. But wellsies.
All right, so do you remember Gary from Blue Heron Studio, who did all those songs for us? And all my best friend, he had the studio. I used to just hang out at his studio all the time. I did a
Yeah.
podcast for a period of time with me and Gary from his studio where we just talked about TV and stuff. I don't remember what the watch list, I think we called it, borrowed from our old days. So Gary had like an appendix surgery. It wasn't even like his appendix burst or anything. He just had appendix surgery, and he went in. It was
Just wanted to
routine.
check up on his appendix.
Yeah, well, there's something. I don't know. They said, hey, maybe you ought to have that taken out. And he's like,
For sure.
all right, fine.
Yeah.
So scheduled surgery and all that. He goes in, he has it taken out. He's like, yeah, I'm going to need you to pick me up from the hospital. I'm like, okay, no worries. So he gets done with his surgery, pick him up, bring him home. And, he's in bed that night and he's like, man, I don't feel so good. I do not feel good at all. So his lovely wife, Judy, takes him back to the emergency room. And she says, look, he just had surgery 12 hours ago. And
Yeah, this ain't right.
you people sent him home and he is in a lot of pain. And they're like, oh, don't worry about it. Just sit there. He sat in the emergency room for 5 hours. Finally, he had to go to the bathroom. So he got up from the emergency room and he went into the bathroom and he went into a stall and he had a heart attack and died.
Shut up.
He laid there on the bathroom stall for an hour before finally.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It was shocking to all of us. It was just a routine surgery and they screwed up on it. Well, you know what? Here's the really bad part. The whole thing is bad, but honestly,
the whole thing's bad. Yeah.
The way I just presented it is a bed of roses compared to what actually happened. He didn't die. What happened was he was just brain dead because he was left there in the stall in the emergency room for hours while his wife tried to get people to go in there and try and find, well, I'm sure he's fine. We're busy around here. And so he lived as a vegetable, basically. Actually, that's not true either because he was in a nursing home for about 7-8 months, and he had the mental acuity of maybe a 2-year-old for the entire 9 months, and then his organs started to fail, and then they just pulled the plug on him. So yeah, it could be worse.
Decision, but oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, he was my best friend. It was awful. It destroyed my son. It destroyed Mason loved his Uncle Gary. Loved him. Loved going to the studio. Gary used to set him up in the music room, and Mason used to play with all the instruments and he'd record things. I mean, just sad. It is
okay. Can I throw out something real serious to me? Okay, so my mom died 2 months ago from ALS, which no one really saw coming, and she was misdiagnosed a couple of times, and she'd been to the Mayo Clinic. She had money, and they had insurance. So
that's Lou Gehrig's disease, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And my mom was a professional ballerina. She toured with the ballet company. She was a championship tennis player in freaking Florida, water skier, whatever. She's super freaking athletic.
And didn't she take a boat? Didn't she take a boat from Illinois to Florida?
Yes, she did.
Took a boat.
Yes, she fucking did. That woman,
down to Mississippi, did it all.
Yep. She was a freaking go-getter, and it took them forever to diagnose her. And she kept saying, I can't walk, I can't move, I can't do this. And the doctors at one point told her it was psychological and she needed a psychotherapist to get past it. Until the third time she went to the Mayo Clinic where they said, you have ALS. And it happened to be the weekend that was at my friend Melody's wedding in Rhode Island, where they called and told me. But it just, there has been absolutely no funding towards investigating ALS and treatments. And there's this Brian Wallet guy, and IamALS.org is his thing. And he worked with Obama, and he's a super smart dude. And he has ALS at 37. He has it at a really young age. And there are several people who have that at a very young age. And just this year, they passed a bill that said that they would, I forget the amount, it's $10 million a year for the next 4 years to investigate how ALS happens and what medications you can bring to help. Because There have not been since Lou Gehrig at all. And I will tell you, I know firsthand, that's the absolute freaking truth. There's been nothing.
Well, I don't mean to like shit on your parade here because that's a serious story, but $10 million for 4 years for R&D on a disease research
I
is
think it
nothing.
might be 100 million. It's a lot of money,
Yeah.
but it's more money that has ever been contributed to investigate this
Okay.
disease
All right.
ever since Lou Gehrig.
Then it's more
Like,
than 10 million because 10 million is not much for that kind of
and
thing.
it's like guaranteed for 4 years. It's the best hope that's been given, because when you are being diagnosed with ALS, you're being told you're going to die, and there's no treatment. They can't help you with anything. You're just dying, and you're dying limb by limb, by muscle by muscle. It's horrifying to watch, and it's so fucking sad.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I watched it with my mom. I went there and I visited, and it was just horrible. And to the point where when they asked my mom, when she was, I mean, it was clear she was going to die from the beginning, from the diagnosis, but at the end, they're like, well, where do you want the contributions to go for ALS? And she said, fuck ALS, donate to St. Jude. ALS organizations have been nothing to help me. And it was heartbreaking to me,
Oof.
but so true.
A couple people in the chat room. Sean says my grandma died of ALS in 1993. So sorry, Kelly.
Sucks. It's a
Horrific
painful thing to
disease.
say.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Wasn't the ice bucket challenge and the ALS thing? Did that cure it? Yeah. Did we cure ALS with the ice bucket challenge?
Yeah.
I
No,
thought that
I
was
did it, and I
real
didn't even
good.
know my mama had it. So, like,
Well, look,
it's horrible.
Hey,
It's
of
horrible.
course,
I
of
mean, I've
course,
lost
of course.
I lost
What are you most afraid
both
of?
my in-laws and my mom in 2 years. We lost all of them.
We're talking about doctors and oh God, we're just gonna. Hey, James, by the way, cue up a sad story. If you got a sad story that you want to float out here,
James,
something
I'm
that's
sorry.
emotional, because I realized after my first son died unexpectedly, and
I still have those cups from that shower.
they convened a college, what they call a college of physicians, which is
Yeah.
that is
Mhm.
where a group of physicians in their spare time, like medical detectives, kind of a thing.
You told me you might know something in 10 years.
Yeah, where they take on a case, and all of these doctors in their spare time just try to figure out what the hell happened here.
Yeah.
They have no explanation for it. And when that happened, when they had no answers, I realized that my entire life, and this is no knock on doctors, and this is no knock on medicine. We don't know anything.
Right,
I mean, remember when they used to put leeches on people, and they thought those people were the height of medical science.
Yeah.
They thought, we don't know shit. It's all guesswork, and it's all based on what they've seen before and what they expect because of what they've seen before.
Yeah.
But I mean, and this is not a knock on doctors. God bless doctors and all the good work that they do.
It's not like they don't want to learn.
No. It's just that this thing, this shell, this husk that we all walk around, this is the most complicated computer in the world, the human body. There are so many things that can go wrong, and they have no clue. It's all just guesswork. And again, I don't mean that as a way or as a slight to the medical profession. I'm just saying that it was at that moment when I lost my kid and they had no answers for me that I was like, wait, I thought you guys knew everything though about the human body.
I watch Grey's
Right?
Anatomy.
Yeah,
How do you fucking not know?
I watch House. They figure everything out in House. How do you people not? And it dawned on me, and when it's just it is really just best guesswork. That's all it is. It's educated guesswork.
Quinn has, for the last 3 years, passed out in his classroom once a year for the past 3 years, and they don't know why. This is a healthy, now 10-year-old who is an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old, and he's passed out, woken up, and puked into a garbage can, and they don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, they send me for tests, and like his sugar levels are fine, his EKGs are fine. So then that's just that's at the limit, and they don't know what to test for.
Have they tested him for the vapors?
Oh, should I get him a vape?
Oh Lord, I've got the vapors.
I
feel a little faint.
I'm not prepared for this math quiz. I do feel I'm coming down with a case of the day.
No, I mean, unfortunately for him, his sister and brother, who are older, are like so clean living. Like they don't do anything against any rules, and like, and people used to say, "Oh, you're killing yourself." No, no, they're totally McKenna and Declan are so much the clean kids.
Really, that is shocking considering they grew up with a couple of alcoholics.
I know, isn't it weird?
Yeah, I wouldn't think.
I guess that it was just like it turned them the complete opposite way.
James, you got any stories? I know James's dad is in desperate need of a new heart, and James carts him around town for cigarettes and Whataburgers.
James?
No, he's not really. My dad's had a lot of heart problems, but the ALS
doesn't worry me. Are you kidding me?
Well, yeah, my dad's had like 4 heart attacks now. He's like the guys on the Bears, you know, the super fans. No.
Oh my God, I swear to God, my family is like waiting with like a will in waiting for me to like sign.
Okay, so the 16 years I was in New Orleans, like when I first got there, I had only been there for a few months, and it was the Saints' first game in the Superdome, and they were playing Atlanta, and the guy that blocked the kick, Steve Gleason, was already kind of a local sub-hero because, you know, he was just this little
football now for the whole rest of
Hang on.
No, talking about Gleason. Come on.
Yeah, Steve Gleason.
Steve Gleason. You should know who Gleason is, God.
He was just a spunky little special teams guy that just tried really hard, and dude, he got himself hurt like 1,000 times by just throwing his body in front of punts and things like that.
He's Tom Waddle of New Orleans.
I'm fairly certain Declan could school me on who it is.
Oh my God, his documentary.
So he got ALS.
Like a bitch.
He had to quit the Saints because he got it in his 30s.
Ugh.
You know, and he shows up to practice, and he's like, "Coach, I can't catch the ball." I'm just mashing his hands together, and so he's the face of ALS in New Orleans, and
almost nationally, James. I would argue nationally. After that documentary, Gleason came out. He's when I think of ALS, I don't think of Lou Gehrig anymore. That's why I had to ask. I think of Steve Gleason.
Yeah. So
wasn't like Steve McMichael or a member of the Bears have it?
MS. I think Steve McMichael has MS.
Which is pretty damn bad too, myelin sheath and all. But the sad part is watching his descent because you know
it's horrible.
Yeah, and I'm in radio, so basically every interview that he did over that little descent period, you could just see it was just a month or two later, but he's even worse and he's even skinnier, and then they had to poke the throat hole, and so now he's talking through a computer, and like you could tell. I was on Radio Row at the Super Bowl for like Super Bowl 50 or something like that, whatever was in New Orleans. And there was an interview with him that was live in the convention center, but you had to wait for him to type in his answers. And so like a question would be asked, and then you would have to sit there for, 45 seconds. Doesn't sound like a long time, but it's a long time to wait for some guy to eyeball out his answer.
For 45 seconds, you'd know how long it is. Yeah.
And so he was asked, well, what's the worst part about this, that you've gone through thus far? And he said, and I don't think he was trying to be funny, but it is kind of funny and true at the same time. He was like, the first time someone else had to wash his balls.
Oh.
Because just what metaphorically that means to a guy, that would be it. That, what, I felt that when he said that someone else had to wash his ball. Not he wanted him to, and it was fun. He couldn't even wash his own, what was literally his manhood.
But Steve McMichael does have ALS, Kelly. He does not MS. Yeah. He does. He has ALS.
I thought so because we keep track of that shit on our
and so here's the other big beating I noticed is he's doing all these fundraisers around town and raising literally millions of dollars. But what is it for? Is it for any treatments for ALS? No, it's for like vans and ramps and like the little breathing machines.
Let me just tell you, it's important
I know, but it was all to mitigate the disease. None of it made anything any better. You were never getting better. It was always a
because
downhill
there
slope, and
wasn't anything. There's
there's
not any
still
research being
nothing.
done.
Right. So
There's
they're
not,
just
but
accommodating the
now there will
descent.
be because they've committed to it. That like no, there hadn't been. I, uh, I'm not trying to argue with you, James, about
Oh,
this.
you know more about this than me.
So
I'm not
fucking
arguing.
person. It's so personal to me. But my mom tried to get into so many studies and so many tests, and to qualify for so many medications, and she didn't because she could breathe. And then she was disqualified for anything, and there was nothing that they could give her. There was nothing they could give her, and my mom had the resources, and she did go around and she did try and she did have insurance, but the research is not there because they don't care. It's not a priority given. And I mean, they're not wrong because I did research it, and it is kind of like, well, you're gonna fucking die, and that's just what's given. And that sucks. Like, how could you not advance in any kind of treatment in like what, 90 years? You can't advance at all?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know it's frustrating and it's extremely personal to you, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. We don't understand the human body. We don't.
Well,
We're
we
not
have to
even.
look into it.
Yeah,
We have to
well,
like make a
agreed. Yeah.
commitment to like say, we're going to look into this and we're going to try to like make this better. We're going to try to look into it. We're going to research it and we're going to try to abscond from it. We're not just going to just go like, oh, you got ALS. Oh, okay. You're going to fucking die. Bye.
Well,
Like,
but I
that's
mean,
what we're going to do.
but we do that with cancer. We just don't know how to
No, we
fix it.
don't.
We don't know how to.
We research cancers. We research cancer treatment. I have my neighbor who has cancer.
Okay, so
I'm
what
surrounded
you're
by old
saying is that
people,
there
so
doesn't seem to be enough of a commitment specifically
there
to
isn't one.
ALS, whereas there
Look
are
into
commitments
it.
to others. No,
There
yeah,
isn't one.
I don't know. I mean, I just think it's all.
You would assume, as I did. I'm like, no, of course they're fucking researching it. They're not, though. They're not.
But do you think that's because they're just like we don't know where
They
to go
think
from
that
here?
doesn't. They
They've.
think that it doesn't affect enough people.
Oh, okay, so that's different. That's a whole different thing. Yeah, you
Yes.
don't you put the money on cancer because every single one of us, if we lived long enough, would
Yes.
develop cancer.
Yes.
That's just a breakdown of the cells, and that would happen to all of us.
And it saves
And
more
the
people if you
ALS, they
direct
think,
your scarce
does not
healthcare
affect enough
resources.
people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they think
Well,
that just would be too much. But there are correlations of diseases that go along with ALS that they could investigate, and like they can find cures that would help those too. I mean, like I watched my mom fucking suffer. Like I watched it. It was horrible. And I can't believe, I mean, considering from in 2016 or 18, she was like looking into going into Washington and like getting compassionate, like being put to death.
yeah, I was just gonna ask because I mean
She
I've
did.
I,
She talked to me about it, and it was just like, Mom, I don't like the fact that she withstood it for as long as she did.
is
To
there
the
any
fact that
do you think there's any guilt on your part that maybe it was because she was afraid, that you wouldn't be able to handle it? I mean, because I
no,
I believe in
it wasn't.
suicide.
I
I
was in
believe
favor
in.
of whatever she wanted to do. But
Okay.
she had to have nurses come in and bathe her and change her and like all of the things that she would never have agreed
See,
to in
yeah,
real life. Horrible, horrible.
I couldn't do that.
No, I mean, like I went there and I did it. I witnessed it, and I think what put my mom over the edge is one time I was at the grocery store. McKenna was. My 22-year-old daughter was there at home, and the nurse wasn't there, and McKenna had to help her onto the bathroom, and my mom was just like so
Yeah,
embarrassed
it'd be
and
humiliating
upset.
to be that needy and that
Yes, yes,
dependent on somebody whose
yes,
diapers you
yes.
changed. You know, it was just like crazy. Did you have a DNR? Was there a do not
Yes.
resuscitate?
Oh yeah. She had a DNR.
That's important.
And they have this whole like
Where do I sign?
thing outside of the house, and like, and Dennis, my stepdad, told me all the things that they had. And yeah, uh, it was a long process, and it was painful for her. It was painful for my stepdad. It still is painful for my stepdad. It's still painful for us. It was just a horrible way to die. She would have been better off dying in a fucking car accident.
Yeah.
Than
Oh
going
yeah.
through that
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Or eating a
Dude,
bullet, fired
my
from
DNR
behind.
paperwork says first chance you get, let me go. Don't
Yeah.
you be dragging me through any of this wheelchair stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, she didn't want it, and the fact that she stood it, to me, was a testament to her strength. The fact that she was willing to fight that hard,
Ugh.
even though she was embarrassed to all the fucking get out and hated it.
James, I know you want to get out of here, right?
Wow, what an uplifting show we've had.
Yeah, but that's okay.
I'm so sorry.
It's a real show, man. It's fine.
Next Kelly Moore Monday will be a little bit lighter.
We're not going to talk about me dying, my mom dying, like
Gary dying, Steve Gleason, Steve McMichael. We hit all the high points. My baby dying. We hit all the high points.
I know. I'm so sorry. I don't mean
dead
to
moms, dead babies.
No.
But you know what? As I get older, you have to learn to deal with this shit, because your parents are dealing with it, and you're going to have to deal with it.
Absolutely. I might have to kill my mom because I know that she doesn't want to.
I think that's what you should do tomorrow.
No, I'm not
Put it on your calendar.
I'm not going to kill my mom tomorrow. What I mean is, we both have an understanding that should we get to a place, do not resuscitates are absolutely what we want. And we've made it perfectly clear to each other over the last few years. But yeah, I don't know that.
Well, I had that too, but no one executed that, and I'm still alive.
Yeah, well, you weren't there yet. You weren't exactly at that place. All right, James, thank you.
Later. Good to see you, Kelly.
All right, I love you guys.
Kelly, you'll join us next Monday.
First of all, in case I die in a tragic car accident, I am so eternally proud of both of you. I love you. I think you're both great human beings.
Wow, that was a bit. James, maybe he's got like a whole bunch of kids, but not me. All right, I love you, Kelly. We'll talk next Monday, okay? With camera.
Oh, you're not going to talk to me this week at all?
Why start now? What are we?
Maybe figure out your camera.
I'm putting you on the spot. Yeah, this for fun.
I don't know. If you have a funny text, send. And there goes James. James just disappears. He just drops off. You got a funny
typical James.
Yeah, typical James. All right, Kelly. Thank you. We love you. We're glad you're a part of our Monday night thing. All right, there we go. That's I had to get rid of her so that I can play the closing theme. Had to get rid of her. That didn't sound great. All right. Well, how about that for a show today? That was that was a little bit heavy, but you had to be brought up to speed. You had to be completely under get all that about where Kelly's been, what's been happening there. Hey, we're all just temporarily here. That's some heavy duty stuff. Appreciate you. Every Saturday or every Monday, Kelly's going to be with us. And look, those of you who remember the Pugs and Kelly show, it's not gonna be like that. It's come on, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun. But it was important. I wanted to get Kelly's story out about her brain injury, and her and I were supposed to have been doing a podcast, but her mom passing kind of upended that. So we are back in the swing of things. So there's going to be a whole bunch more coming. So appreciate your patience, and I hope you appreciated the show, because she was incredibly heartfelt and all of that stuff. There is no show tomorrow at noon. No show tomorrow at noon. Apologize, but I want to make sure that everybody gets the full, I don't want people showing up at noon and, then there not being a show. So there will be no show tomorrow at noon, but there will be a Pillow Talk show. Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk. We'll come back and we'll do that at 9. Who knows? Maybe if Kelly gets that damn cable, maybe she'll jump in on a day other than a Monday. But as of right now, Mondays will be Pugs and Kelly starring James Parker. I think that's the better way to do it. Who knew his ego was so fragile? Please help support the show. Please help us continue doing these shows. You can do that by hitting up any of the options you see there at the bottom of the screen, the Venmo, the Cash App, whatever it is. Every little bit helps. I call them tips. Tip the show. Keep us going. We need to make X amount of dollars by the end of the month. And Leslie and April, I've checked them. Check Leslie, check April. What else? It's good to see some of you. Some of you people I hadn't seen in a while here in the chat room today. So welcome back. All right, that's it. Pretty heavy stuff tonight. We love you all. Take care. Tell the people you love them. Yeah, I know. Sounds a bit cliched, but man, is that true. That is really true. That sounds... All right, bye, everybody. Have a good one. Appreciate you. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day, the best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.